All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 4:30. Roll call vote. Sam?
Trustee Wigan,
Here.
Trustee Soilu, Trustee Murphy, Trustee Pearson,
Here.
Trustee Anderson, Trustee McElroy,
Here.
Trustee Crane,
Here.
Dr. Smith.
Here.
Okay, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second?
Moved by Trustee Crane, seconded by Trustee Pearson. Roll call vote.
Trustee Wigan,
Yes.
Trustee Soilu, Trustee Murphy, Trustee Pearson,
Yes.
Trustee Anderson, Trustee McElroy,
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
All right, moving on to community, the vote was 4-0. Community input on closed session items. Do we have any? Seeing none, we will move into closed session. The items are conference with real property negotiator, B, liability claims, workers' compensation, C, conference with labor negotiator, and D, public employee discipline dismissal release. We will return to open session at 6 p.m. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. And opening ceremonies and Pledge of Allegiance led by our student board member, Kenley Lopez.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Adoption of the minutes from 9/16/25. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second?
Moved by Trustee Crane, seconded by Trustee Pearson. Roll call vote.
Trustee Wigan,
Yes.
Trustee Soilu, Trustee Murphy, Trustee Pearson,
Yes.
Trustee Anderson, Trustee McElroy,
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
All right. Motion was 4-0. Now moving on to the student board member reports. The topic today was, how do students perceive the mental health and wellness support available at their schools, and what suggestions do they have for improving these services? I'm going to first go to our student board member on the dais, Kenley Lopez from Monte Vista High School.
Good evening, Superintendent Smith, President Wagan, and esteemed board members. My name is Kenley Lopez, and I'm speaking on behalf of Costa Mesa High School. For this meeting's topic, I had the opportunity to speak with a variety of students and gather important information. First, I would like to begin by highlighting the positive impact that the wellness and mental health spaces are having in our school community. As one student shared, they share advice that makes you feel better about yourself and help you face any problem that you might have with a positive attitude. Additionally, I feel safe and comfortable since I can speak my language, parentheses Spanish, and I can communicate without any issue. Other students mentioned that they love how these spaces are organized, as they provide an inclusive environment and have great staff members as well. As students also suggested that our schools should improve communication when it comes to sharing information about these services and try to make them more interactive and educational. Personally, as a student who has used these services, I can say that I truly appreciated the way I was treated and the personal growth advice I received during a difficult time. Wellness and mental health spaces can be found in any place, such as the counseling office or the school community facilitator's office. This is why we should be grateful for the dedication and commitment these staff members show toward their students. Thank you.
Thank you. And sorry, I misspoke. You're from Costa Mesa. Sorry about that, Kenley. But great report. Next up, we have Mackenzie Vauvan from CDM High School.
Good evening, Superintendent Smith, Board President Wygan, and esteemed board members in the Newport-Mesa Unified Community. My name is Mackenzie Vauban, and I want to thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of Corona Del Mar High School. At CDM, we offer a multitude of mental health and wellness supports, most notably our newest edition of the King's Cove. This space is staffed full-time to help students with school, social life, and mental health. The wellness space offers counseling, stress relief fidgets, and a calm environment to take a break at school. Students are welcome to visit the wellness space during class if they feel overwhelmed, and the space is open at any time. Our Wellness Committee and ASB hosts events in the King's Cove, such as yoga classes, to promote the space and highlight the services that they provide. We also host Finals Fiesta the Sunday before finals from 5 to 7, where teachers open up their classrooms for study sessions and office hours. We provide El Ranchito for every classroom, hence the name Finals Fiesta. It's a great way for students to get extra help from teachers and study groups. We offer school psychologists on campus for counseling and support, and our academic counselors are also available to talk to us when they need. The district also contracts with us with outside organizations to bring in specialized supports for students. Lastly, our parent groups also contribute support to our students. The PTA recently had a roundtable of mental health professionals to speak to the parents in the community to help them connect with their student and understand the academic and social demands for today's teenagers. In addition, the PTA has brought therapy dogs on campus, usually the week before finals, to relieve stress and provide support for busy CDM students. Some aspects that we want to improve is visibility for these services, or finding new ways to advertise and make known that they are available to them. We want to encourage students to utilize these services on campus so that they can manage their stress and workload better. Thank you.
Thank you. I love the therapy dogs. That's great. Yeah. Next up, we have Charlie Leverett. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, from Monte Vista High School.
You said my last name perfectly, by the way.
Nice.
Thank you.
Great.
Good evening, Superintendent Smith, Board President Wygand, board members, and members of the Newport-Mesa Unified Community. My name is Charlie Leverett. I am a student board representative for Monte Vista, and the topic I was asked to address tonight is how do students perceive the mental health and wellness support available at Monte Vista, and what suggestions do they have for improving these services? According to the most recent California Healthy Kids survey, 66% of Monte Vista students report feeling school connectedness, 79% report interacting with caring adults, and 90% report knowing teachers have high expectations. All Monte Vista students have access to wellness resources, including Turning Point Counseling, Care Solace Counseling, social emotional support from our school counselor, school community facilitator, school worker, and school psychologist. Quarterly PBIS award ceremony recognizing students for their CLIMB values of collaboration, leadership, integrity, motivation, and belonging. Structured flexibility in our courses, as well as individual onboard meetings to be able to differentiate support for all students. And we also offer positive student activities to promote culture and climate, such as the Harvest Festival, Holiday Craft Festival, Spirit Week, and other activities. Students have reported that they would like a wellness space at Monte Vista to regroup and have a trusted adult to speak to as needed. Students report that they feel connected and supported by their teachers at Monte Vista because of the individual instructional meetings they have on a weekly basis. Thank you for allowing me to share about Monte Vista tonight at tonight's board meeting.
Great. Thank you so much, Charlie. Wonderful. Now on to number 11, Harbor Counselor PTA report, Martha Floor.
Good evening, President Wygand, Trustee Pearson, Trustee McElroy, and Trustee Crane, and community members and superintendent and cabinet. My name is Martha Fleur, and I'm the PTA, Harbor Council PTA President. And on behalf of Harbor Council, I would like to express our sincere appreciation for the ongoing support of our mission and collaborative work with our schools. Our volunteers devote significant time and effort to ensure every student has a voice and is acknowledged and every family feels welcome. We remain steadfast in advocating for programs and policies that benefit our diverse community. We held our second meeting of the month on October 6th. Thank you, Dr. Torres and her team, and Annette Franco for delving into the issue on our many communities are facing daily, e-bikes and our student safety. It generated a lot of discussion, and our PTA units are ready and willing to partner with our schools, police departments, and the district to promote and educate our parents and community members and the district on e-bike safety. We do not want to hear about another one of our students dying because of e-bikes or violence. We think 4 is enough. Annette has always and continues to inform us about Parent Square and its expansion across all districts, all schools in the district, and most are quite pleased. Secondary, it's a little getting used to, but they're all doing it. Harbor Council and its 28 units remain dedicated to strengthening connections between our parents, teachers, and administrators. Our focus continues to be on building robust partnerships to enhance student achievement and well-being, and ensuring that every student has access to the necessary resources and opportunities. Through our ongoing collaboration and open communication, we seek to create a supportive environment for all members of our school community. We are proud of our PTA members. They have embraced the California PTA membership challenges for 2025, and together we make a difference across California. I have printed copies for each of you. The first challenge was We Plan Together and was due by September 30th. Several of our PTAs submitted their themes and goals for the year, and these units will be recognized on the CAPTA social media. The second challenge was Together We Grow Fast, and once again, our unit stepped up, promoting PTA memberships and reaching over 100 members by October 8th. 18 out of our 28 PTA units achieved this challenge. We are now on our third CAPTA challenge, Together We Launch, and every member counts. This challenge is to have at least 30 members by October 30th. I am so proud to say that all of our units, all 28 units, have met the 30-member mark. Many of our West Side schools would love to have you join their PTAs, however, as well as our smallest unit, Back Bay High School. Our Harbor Council PTA now has 4,355 members. We are at 75% of our goal of 5,800 members. This is a 5% increase in membership over last year's membership. California, Corona Del Mar, Costa Mesa Middle and High School, Early College High School, and Killiebrook, Newport L, and Newport Heights have exceeded their membership from last year, with Corona Del Mar leading the mark with a whopping 472 members as of October 16th. That's a 92 member over last year's count. On our advocacy front, 2 of the bills I spoke to you about last month, AB 49 and AB 98, Senate Bill 98, have been signed into law. AB 49, the California Safe Haven Schools and Child Care Act, authored by Senator Martucci, protects immigrant children from actions by U.S. Immigration and Enforcement, Customs Enforcement, ICE officers who enter school sites or child care facilities. SB 98, the SAFE Act, is elementary, and its official title is Elementary, Secondary, and Post-Secondary Education Immigration Enforcement Notification by Senator Sasha Renee Perez, will require school districts, California State University, California Community College districts, and each Cal Grant qualifying institution of higher education, as well as request the University of California to ensure a notification is issued to all students, faculty, and other campus community members when the presence of federal immigration enforcement enforcement is confirmed on campus. These notifications must include the date, time, and location of the enforcement on campus, as well as a link to additional resources for students and campus community members. I know this is going to be rather difficult, but our district, I know, will step up to the challenge. On November 4th, there will be a special election. Proposition 50 would redraw congressional district lines. It's the only item on the ballot. California PTA, and as well as Harbor Council PTA, is not taking a position on Prop 50 because it involves partisan political considerations. I have also given you the 4th District's PTA Advocacy Communicator. If you are interested, you can sign up to get it, but you have to be a PTA member to receive it. So join the PTA, and I think all of you are PTA members. Also, I'd like to congratulate Estancia T. Winkle Schools Foundation for their wonderful gala last Saturday. It was a lovely event, but the highlight was the moving tributes to Barbara Van Holt and Pauline Meridian. It was wonderful. And I got to see my colleague's son when I first ran in 1991. Ed Decker's son was there, so that was just cool. And finally, I would like you to put on December 8th. That's our holiday luncheon. The invitations have gone out, and we hope to see you there. We look forward to working with you and seeing you at the state and hearing from Dr. Smith and everyone on the state of the schools on October 28th. And finally, I leave you with information from my, don't ask me what it's called, AI Overview on my Chrome. So I asked for quotes on Halloween. Safety quotes, because this is always a time when we get nervous. So, be alert today, alive tomorrow. It's a strong Halloween safety quote that highlights the importance of staying aware, particularly for drivers and pedestrians. Other safety slogans include slower speeds save lives for drivers, and for trick-or-treaters, the following: walk, don't run across the street, put your electric devices down, heads up, and make eye contact with drivers before closing. Thank you very much. I apologize on behalf that we don't have a full quorum here, that we have 3 individuals that are not here. That's shameful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have CSEA President Amy Ching.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. As always, it's very hard to follow Martha. Good evening, President Wygant, trustees, Superintendent Smith, cabinet, and guests. I want to begin by thanking the board for your ongoing commitment to professional development for classified staff. Your support continues to make meaningful difference. Under Tracy's leadership, we're proud to share that on November 5th, classified staff members will participate in professional development shaped by the work being done in the classified think tank. This is a significant step forward, and we are genuinely excited. We remain committed to working collaboratively with the district to grow and sustain this investment in classified employees. Steady. What does it mean to be steady? When my husband and I were dating, he would often say, "I'm boring," and I would reply, "You're not boring, you're steady." To me, steady means reliable, consistent, and grounded. In today's world, where uncertainty and instability seem to surround us, that kind of steadiness is more important than ever. We see it everywhere, in the news, on social media, and in our daily lives. It's hard not to feel the weight of the unrest. That's why CSEA is deeply committed to being a steady presence for classified professionals. We believe the tentative agreement before you tonight reflects that commitment. It's the product of collaboration, perseverance, and shared respect. I want to thank our negotiations team for their dedication to classified staff, and also extend sincere thanks to Tracy, Jeff, and their negotiations team. Your transparency and willingness to engage openly helped us make this agreement possible. Lastly, you may have noticed that I'm wearing blue tonight. This is in support of our certificated partners. Although we walk separate paths, I want to express my respect and appreciation for their work and for their passion that they bring in advocating for their members. As always, we look forward to continuing to do the good work for students, staff, and the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, NMFT President Rhonda Reed.
Good evening, President Wigan, trustees, Superintendent Smith, cabinet, and guests here tonight. On January 1st, 2024, our members still had not received their December paycheck. Many had automated bills to go out. People were panicked and desperate. One member said, "I have to get diapers." So I called Schools First, where many of our members bank. It was a holiday, so only the fraud department was open. And they told me, "Tell your members to call us, the fraud department, and we will put the money they need in their account." It wasn't their problem, and it wasn't their fault. Somewhere between the Treasury Department and the Orange County Department of Ed, something went wrong. And I remember the first time I told this story, just the depth of generosity for Schools First that we all felt. They're a numbers people. They are a financial institution, and they did not have to. In fact, law would support. They are under no obligation to. But they had compassion and care for their members, the members of their bank, your employees. And this is the trait that makes organizations great. Organizations that put people first and take action because it's the right thing to do. I think care and compassion is the heart of education. And this is what makes good districts great. This is what our educators do to make this district great. It isn't numbers or data, but it's their personal relationships that they build with each student. It is the care and compassion that connects students to their schools and to learning. As Wes says, we want all of our students to be seen, heard, and valued. I'm here to speak on behalf of our members and the financial situation facing them. The district has informed us of the intent to take the whole increase for health benefits out of the educators' paychecks because we have not reached an agreement in negotiations. We were told this amount would be around $300 for every month that we do not settle. The district's position is they can do this and they plan to. But the question is why? Why would they do this? They could also choose compassion and empathy. How much more care should a school district have for their employees than a financial institution? It seems that this would be a penalty for not settling the contract negotiations in a quicker timeline. While we do not want to delay, simply we want to just do right by our members. We want to ensure that they have a fair pay and that they know that they're seen, heard, and valued. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have community input on non-agendized items. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items not on the regular meeting agenda. Comments on non-agenda topics are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person. By order of the Brown Act, section 54954.2, the board will take no action nor have any discussions on non-agendized items. The superintendent may provide clarification during superintendent's comments. First up, we have Rachel Jimenez.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rachel Jimenez, and I am a site rep at CDM. I'm here on behalf of new teachers at CDM and those across the district. I want to address the extra deduction for all health benefits, the increase that we just heard Rhonda talk about, which would be an extra $300, which would greatly affect teachers, not just them as individuals, but their entire families, and especially our brand new teachers. We have seen price increases in all aspects of our lives, from housing to food, and this will hurt so many teachers and their families that depend on every dollar. It will make paying rent, buying groceries, supporting their families, paying off school loans so much more difficult. Teachers show up and put in their greatest effort because they fell in love with helping others. We value the positive impact it has on our children and the community. We hope the district will show us that we are valued so that we can continue doing our best to support all.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jeremy Lohr.
Good evening, Superintendent Smith, esteemed board members, and members of the community. My name is Jeremy Lohr, and I represent the students of Early College High School as their student board member. While I'm not presenting an official report tonight, like my peers have earlier, I still wanted to speak briefly. At the last board meeting, I mentioned the importance of our on-campus clubs, highlighting two that contribute greatly to our community and campus culture. One of the clubs that I mentioned, Advocates for Learning, is here tonight. Their mission is to unite students and provide them with a space to identify issues and brainstorm solutions to problems we see on campus. Over the past few weeks, they have been doing just that. As such, I wanted to briefly introduce them tonight. The club president, Olivia Stockdale, is here. She will be speaking on the nutritional services that we have access to, mostly to our personal experiences. But before she gets started, I would like to take the chance to share my experiences. I don't want to talk about numbers or cost or anything analytical, just the human element and life of a student. When I get lunch from school, which is more often than not pizza, I feel hungry after sitting through either a 90-minute lecture on geology or have spent time working on my argumentative research essay in English. The standard serving size is one slice of pizza, not nearly enough to get me through my after-lunch responsibilities of tutorings and a statistics course. On a regular day, I end up asking for double portions just as lunch is ending, and if I'm lucky, there will be an extra slice of pizza or extra mozzarella sticks or something else to get me through. If not, that's that. I go the rest of the day without eating, getting home having eaten one single slice of pizza, and maybe if I had time during passing periods to grab breakfast, a bagel. Long story short, a bagel and a slice of pizza are not enough for a student to get through tutoring, statistics, English, and more. And this is just my story. While I know and understand that no action can be taken by the board tonight, this is an issue I am invested in and willing to pursue throughout my term as student board member. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Olivia Stockdale.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Olivia Stockton, the president of Advocates for Learning at Early College. Many students of Early College have pointed out that school lunches are not filling or nutritious, and there tends to be a lack of variety. We enjoyed how the inclusion of sandwiches and bento boxes encouraged more nutritious and allergy-friendly options. School-provided breakfast and lunch are important, especially at Early College, with an average breakfast and lunch participation rate of 36% as of March 2024. And the nutrition helps students reach their academic potential. Most of the hot lunch do not contain much nutritional value or fruits or vegetables. The alternative options tend to be cold lunches that are not the most nutritious or filling. Whenever I try to incorporate healthy choices and I choose a veggie sandwich, I am usually hungry immediately after school as there is not quite enough protein. When I want to choose something more filling, the only usual alternative option is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is usually frozen in the middle and has more sugar than the American Heart Association's guidance for daily intake of added sugar for women and children in a single serving. Additionally, certain main dishes that are not packaged, have no nutrition label or ingredients list. I want to ensure that students have access to important nutritional information to make sure it is filling and appropriate for their dietary needs. I will also read a statement from Ruby Bronker, our Vice President, who could not make it today due to illness. The main issues with school lunches are the lack of variety and inclusivity for dietary needs. An example of this lack of variety in our school is pizza being served for lunch nearly every day. Serving pizza almost every day is a problem because it's not a food that has the nutritional value growing young adults need to fuel their minds and bodies. Additionally, students get tired of eating the same thing every day, which may lead some to choose to simply skip lunch altogether, which is definitely not a healthy habit to form. This is even worse for those with dietary restrictions because even though these alternatives are offered, they usually are unhealthy and come in very small portions. Adding more variety and healthier lunch options would be beneficial to school because it would encourage more students to eat, would be better for their health, and would be more inclusive of students with dietary restrictions. This statement rings true to her experience as she has a peanut allergy and usually one of the few alternative options that are consistently provided is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Given these issues, we request that students be given opportunity to participate in the selection of meals for student breakfast and lunch. Thank you for your consideration and time.
Thank you. Next up, we have Victor V.
Greetings and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Victor Valladares, and I'm here on behalf of Resilience Orange County. Resilience Orange County builds power through intergenerational approach, uniting young folks and adults and families to lead in civic engagement, advocacy, and grassroots organizing. We work to ensure the community members feel seen, heard, and valued, understood in decision-making spaces. Our work is grounded in leadership development, participatory research, organizing, and collaboration. Since we've arrived here in 2022, we've been able to advocate and organize young folks who have been very pivotal in our summary of findings in 2022, where we here in the city of Costa Mesa were able to pass a rental assistance program with a lot of the deep research and canvassing efforts that we launched in 2022. In 2023, we passed an emergency eviction protection ordinance here in the city of Costa Mesa. And I'm here to talk about Chamoy. So this group just was born out of advocacy and need for young folks to be heard in the city of Costa Mesa. And they will be speaking later on tonight on all of their advocacy work that they've been doing here in the city of Costa Mesa, not just in their schools, but they've also been able to charter a new club at Estancia High School. So I'm just here to just congratulate them in all of their work that they're doing for all residents of Costa Mesa. We've also launched 2 years ago, or actually this is our third year, our Youth Summer Civic Program. And with our Youth Summer Civic Program, we do a lot of college campus tours throughout Southern California and locally here, even our community colleges. And we partner up with our partners at Orange County Community Housing Corporation to the Stepping Up program. And we work directly with, other schools here in the Newport-Mesa Unified School District. I know Kenley's been to some of our meetings before. So I just would like to just thank the whole board, and hopefully y'all could be invited. We would love to invite you all to our main headquarters. We're located at 2790 Harbor Boulevard. The cross streets are Adams and Harbor. We meet every single Tuesday. That was because they're like, we want to meet every single week. I'm like, okay, fine. We'll meet every single week. So it's a youth-led advocacy group, and Resilience Orange County, our mission and vision is Resilience is an organization working to strengthen leadership of color towards community transformation. And our vision is to inform and inspire communities of color to thrive and build a just future. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Chamoy that are just watching out there. I'm really proud of you all, and we're always here to support community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jackie Gomez.
Good evening, honorable school board members. My name is Jackie, and I'm current senior at Estancia High School, and I'm the president and Chamoy founder of the Chamoy Club. Chamoy stands for Changing Hearts and Minds of Youth. Chamoy first started back in 2023 with a small group of students who wanted to learn about their community, and they had two amazing advisors, Victor and Dulce. This year, in 2025, we became an official club at Estancia High School, and we already have a whopping 40 members involved. I want to give a shout out to our advisor, Mr. G, for helping us start the club. We appreciate you so much. So far, we've had 5 meetings at the school, and we've held our very first college readiness workshop to help seniors get a head start on their college apps. Our vision for this club is to create a welcoming space for students to discuss events happening locally and empower students to advocate for change. I want this club to be what it was for me, a safe space to speak for those who can't. I personally have gained so much knowledge and confidence through Chamoy, and I hope to continue to be a leader for my community and those who look like me. We appreciate the time you guys take to listen to us and participate at our school programs. Please continue to fund programs that support all student success and don't punish us for the neighborhoods we live in. Thank you for supporting us and our communities.
Thank you. Next, Emilian Alperez.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Emmeline, and I'm an alumni from Estancia High School and part of Chamoy, Changing Hearts and Minds of Youth. Chamoy began in 2023 with Resilience Orange County as a space built by and for young people to organize around issues that impact our lives and communities. This year, we brought Chamoy to Estancia and became an official campus club. Our goal is to create a space where students can talk about issues, build leadership, and make a positive impact. Today, we have over 40 active members, and our growth wouldn't be possible without the guidance of Jackie, the founder and president of the club, but also the leadership of the club members and the support of Mr. G. Chamoy shows that when young people are supported and given space to lead, they build not just competence, but community power. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, superintendent comments. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Cynthia Blackwell. I'm sorry. You got stuck to another person's card. Thank you.
Good evening. I haven't been here in a while because I've been out traveling and spending my kids' inheritance, which I love doing in my retirement. But I did go to the city council meeting in September right before I left for Europe and talk to them about the e-bike situation because they were talking about the joint agreement they're going to have between the Costa Mesa Police Department and the school board. And my concern then, and it still is that there doesn't seem to be any kind of a handle on these e-bike riders, especially the teenagers coming out of Costa Mesa High School. I only can speak to that high school because I was driving home down Fairview during school hours getting out. I'm like, oh, good grief, I should take another way. And they were just flying out of there, sometimes 2 on a bike. Nobody had a helmet on. Nobody was following the rules. I'm thinking, come on. I did bike duty for years at Kaiser Elementary. And when it was my turn to do duty, I stood at that gate where the bikes were locked up. And if you did not have a helmet on your head properly, you were not riding said bike home. And I don't know why, if they can do it at the elementary schools, they can't do something at these really junior high and high schools, especially if you have a dedicated police officer. It'd only take like a week of bikes getting confiscated and parents getting called to come pick them up. That would really send a big message. Simple solution. I also listened to the September 16th board meeting, a lot of it, because I wanted to see if e-bikes were brought up. And the whole thing about the OC GRIP program going on over on the west side caught my attention. I was a little worried about taxpayer dollars being used on something that may possibly be profiling. I could be wrong. I'd also check my receipts and invoices from that company, just a little warning. I was very disappointed in the fact that one of our trustees could not pronounce the name of one of the elementary schools correctly. And I want to give a shout out to Trustee Anderson, because when she talked about Chamoy and the Latino legislative group and her passion for her area, she knows what her area needs. She grew up in that area. She has lived there forever. She is well respected in her area, and it would be nice if something that she cares about deeply is taken into consideration. And she has 100% dedicated herself to her area, and I just want to say I was very proud of her and how she spoke up for what she feels is best for her community. And I know all of you have your own areas that you do. Years ago, it was board members at large, because my dad was on the school board along with Martha Fleur, and they oversaw the whole district. I think areas are a lot better, and Ashley does a really good job speaking for her area. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, now on to superintendent's comments.
Yeah, the e-bikes topic has been one that we've heard a lot about. Harbor Council PTA recently made that their entire topic for their meeting. You know, as it relates to what districts can do, certainly we have a role in educating our youth, and we even try to educate our parents. And we're looking at, you know, new and better ways to do that. Certainly enforcement on campus we can do. I think you mentioned making sure that students have their helmets on. And we do that, in fact, to make them wear them properly. Because another thing they'll do is, and I know none of our students here that are taking notes would do this, but they'll put them on their heads and not, you know, buckle the chin strap and it's hanging down, or it'll be hanging behind their neck. And so the school's saying, hey, you know, come put it on right. You know how to wear that. Or 2 students on a bike that's built for 1 student, things like that. So on campus, we have some things we can do. And then beyond that, we have some influence and partnerships we can have with our cities. And in both cities, we're having those conversations regularly. Just last week, they had one with the city of Costa Mesa, where we're looking at what can we do in the way of education, but also code enforcement. How do we build safer routes to school? It's a really comprehensive approach to keeping our young people on these e-bikes, and other citizens, quite honestly, riding their e-bikes, and motorists safe as we navigate our cities. They had a cabs group in Newport Beach, you know, some years ago, in fact. So they've really been talking about this for quite a while. And then I'll just end by saying that our board cares so deeply for this, besides all the things I just mentioned. We're looking for a date in November to have a study session workshop on safety, e-bike safety, amongst other things. But they want to have this deep conversation about what more we can do. So look for that, because like all of our study sessions, we'll be announcing that publicly. You know, I watch students advocating, and few things in life give me as much hope as that. When I turn on the news and I become, I don't know if depressed is the right word, because I'm a pretty positive cat, but when I get a little bit down and then I hear our kids, you know, advocating for what they need, it inspires me. It gives me hope. And so, you know, for our youth that set up tonight, Chamoy Changing Hearts, and talking about confidence and character, and to the young lady who spoke last, you could tell that that confidence was something you were mustering to stand up there, and it didn't come second nature to you. And that's just awesome. And I know that a lot of our clubs and our student groups promote that. The resilience that was mentioned in the name, Resilience OC, and we ask employers now to talk about jobs that haven't been created. What do they need from the workforce? Resilience is one of those things. We can imagine why with the ever-changing workforce. And so the folks that are doing that work, the students who are practicing that skill set, thank you. It's absolutely inspiring. Keep up the great work. And then to advocate respectfully. That also wasn't lost on me, and I'm sure the audience either. Speaking of advocacy, school nutrition, school meals, I could bore you with how laws and regulations say they're nutritious. And I know what you're going to say is, yeah, come taste them, right? Yes, right? And since I've been here, day one, I've heard our trustees saying we expect more from our system. Coming out of the pandemic, we know that the situation was such that we couldn't do what we had done before. And since then, we've said we can do better. So things, and you mentioned some of the bento boxes, the orange chicken, the pizza that was a step up, if you will, the hummus and pita. I mean, all these things that we've been test kitchening that are more desirable and more nutritious. But we have a long ways to go. Here's the commitment I'll make. I'll make sure that to our group that came forward tonight, at Early College that we set up a little meeting with our nutrition services team, and they can come and talk to you about, what it is you're interested in, what are some of your concerns. I think the packaging, the label, or however we would tell you how nutritious things are, I think that's a great idea. My wife won't buy something unless she can tell the nutritional value. I'm not burdened by that same obligation, but to someone I love, it means a lot, and so I think that's the least we can do. I can't comment on negotiations, and I could sit here and tell you the things we've done since I've been here in 4 years, and maybe at some point I'm going to have to start sharing those things to demonstrate what does value look like. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to tell you this. I was at a meeting with our Dine with Data this week where we invite folks to come in after work, right? Teachers are working their tails off. They come in after work to look at their data and say, how can we do better, right? Because the systems that our community needs and deserves, the system our students deserve, is continuously improving. Good, better, best, right? And our teachers show up to look at the data and say, hey, we can do better, right? We can be the best. And I'm sitting there listening, and I can only imagine, they work so hard getting to that meeting, looking at data. And this teacher from Ensign, math teacher, they're talking, they say, hey, our data looks better this year, right? Smiles, celebration, as it should be. And then this teacher looked at his colleagues and said, you know what, we can do better. Let's talk about how we do that. There are systems where they talk about top-down leadership. There are systems where they talk about bottom-up. This is an example of leadership from the middle, where we get people in a room, we ask the expert, our teachers, how do we get better? I'm not telling you how we get better. We're asking you how we get better. That's an example that happened yesterday. You know how much I value teachers. I talk about it all the time, and I know that it's easy to say that. And what you're saying is, show us. Heard. Can't talk about negotiations, but they're ongoing, and I have faith in the people at the table that as they come together and continue to talk about these things, that the value of all will be represented ultimately in the package. The value for our employees, the value for our kiddos, the long-term value of this district. I believe those things are going to happen. And so that's all I'll say about negotiations tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to community input on agendized items. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items on the regular meeting agenda. Comments on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person. Speaker cards for items on the discussion action calendar may be held until the item is considered by the board if the speaker prefers. So let's see. Okay. Marty O'Meara, do you want to go now or 17:8? Okay.
Good evening, Superintendent and President Wagan. Haven't spoken here for like 6 years. I'm sure you're glad. You people were not even here. But on many of the occasions when I spoke, I was yelled at by trustees, kind of scoffed at, and I couldn't make any comments back because, you seal your mouth when you leave. But I have had a lot of experience. I taught in special ed and regular ed for over 20 years in a neighboring school district. And then after that, I retired and worked for Chapman University as a school supervisor of new teachers. So I supervised all over Orange County, even some of your schools here in Newport-Mesa. And one of the things I remember specifically that I spoke at a school board meeting was, I said I had gone to Garden Grove and they had dumped a specific curriculum. Like you change your curriculum every 7 years. They had dumped it, and Newport-Mesa was going to go with that curriculum. And I came and talked to the school board, and I said, well, why don't you talk to other school districts that are using the curriculum and find out the pros and the cons instead of just, I don't know. I don't know whether they ever did that, but that was one of my comments. I think a couple of the major accomplishments I did when I was speaking was we had some trustees that had been on the school board for 18, 21, and 24 years. And I thought that was unreasonable. I don't think anybody can keep track of what's going on in the district when you're that much older than the kids in school. So I kept bugging the district school board members, and you finally put it onto a ballot, and it overwhelmingly passed to now you have term limits. So I won't see any of you for 24 years. The second thing that I think I did accomplish when I was speaking was, this is way before your time, but they used to have the public comments at the very end of the meeting. So people were waiting 2 or 3 hours. The young families and the young kids, they would never come because they weren't going to wait till 10 or 11 o'clock. Well, I think there was a term limit, 10 o'clock to speak. So we got that switched to the beginning. So I think that's a definite advantage. Then I just wanted to praise one of our more recent board members, Ashley Anderson. She has been a great, fabulous help for the West Side. She lives there, she worked there, she knows those families, she's always known them, and she fights for the many of the things that are necessary on the West Side. She has been an outstanding, already, I'm off?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
But I did want to say congratulations to Dr. Smith. You're a breath of fresh air.
Thank you. Next up, Carmen Ramirez. Do you want to speak now or before 17A? Okay. So I'll call you back up. And then we have Erica. You also want to speak on 17A. Do you want to speak now or when the item is up? Okay, before the item? Okay. We'll call you guys back up. All right, so now moving on to our achievement report, we've got 16, achievement report on the Newport-Mesa Unified Continuous Improvement Journey continues. 2024-2025 Smarter Balanced Data. Assistant Superintendent Shields.
Good evening, Dr. Smith, board, community members. This month, our Smarter Balanced assessment scores went public, and we find it important to share everything with our community, with our board about how we're doing. And so this evening, we'll talk about the rosebuds, the blossoms, and the thorns. A little bit of everything about how we're doing and how we believe we can improve. So basically, we'll review just a very brief part of our demographics, just a big reminder to all of us about how different our communities are and how we strive to address every need in every community for all students. We'll also talk about things we're doing preemptively and investments we're making now based on how we've done in the past in terms of improving our data. We'll talk about district highlights and bright spots because there are many, and then we will also look at how we're doing in comparison to the state, the county, and some sample school districts in Orange County. So one very important point I always like to make at the beginning of everything is, as everyone knows, we have 4 zones in the district. And just a reminder about how different they are in terms of some key demographics. And this one is particularly about socioeconomically disadvantaged. And that's one of the markers that the state looks for. And while we know that there is a discrepancy of this in our district, and there is a correlation many times to achievement, not just in our district, but across many districts, there is no scientific reason why students can't all perform at the same high levels. And so we are always striving to outperform family demographics as any predictor of how any student in our district would do. So we wanted to start too, as you've heard from our budget and other things, like where are we investing? Where are we putting our time? Where are we putting our energy? And where we're putting our dollars? And I will let Dr. Sir explain what Dr. Smith calls a very busy slide.
Thank you. So what you see here is a piece of research in regards to an individual named John Hattie. He's out of New Zealand, and he truly has developed what by many nationally and across multiple countries considers the gold standard of educational research. He started out in 2009 and developed 136 influences that he measured. Some don't have a positive impact on learning, some have a minimal, and some have a positive. Today, the 138 influences that he originally started with is growing, and now he's at 256. So he looks at the 256 different things that schools can do to impact student learning. So over here on the left, you'll see some things that actually have a negative impact on learning: suspension, retention, students feeling disliked, presence of mobile phones, bullying, boredom. None of those have a positive impact. And then when we get to the minimal impact, you'll see homework. You'll see homework at 0.29 and reducing class size at 0.17. One of the critical things here is you have a thermometer of influence at the bottom here, and 0.4 is considered significant. It's a significant effect size. So anything at 0.4 or higher, especially at 0.4, it's considered 1 year's worth of growth for a student. So 0.4 or higher really is the desired area. So again, homework and reducing class size don't hit that level as far as being significant statistically in regards to what works in education. When you get over to the right side, you'll see things like collective teacher efficacy, which I'm going to touch on, but you also see things like response to intervention, teacher clarity, classroom discussion. Both collective teacher efficacy and teacher clarity are bolded up there for a very specific reason, because those are areas that we are focusing on right now as a school district. Specifically talking about collective teacher efficacy, out of the 256 things that John Hattie's work measures, it is the #1 thing that you can do in education. And that's very, very clear in regards to if you are a teacher and you work with a team of other teachers and you believe that collectively working together that you are a stronger teacher, that actually has a major impact on student outcomes. But it's interesting because it's really about beliefs. Believing that I, as an individual teacher, I'm a strong teacher, but collectively with my peers, together, we are far more stronger. So it touches on something that we're working very hard on right now. Specifically, we're working on our purposeful learning teams, and that is time every single week that is carved out for our teachers to get together. We know the magic exists when teachers get together. That's really where the rubber hits the road, if you will. And it's an area that we're continuing to support with protocols, data analysis, and planning of instruction. Another thing that we're starting out with is teacher clarity. Doug Fisher out of San Diego State University is a very, very accomplished researcher, and he's working with us this year. He's done some work with us in the beginning of the year with our teachers. He's been working with our principals, and specifically we've started out with learning intentions and success criteria. Learning intentions are focused on what you want to teach, and success criteria is making it really clear for students in their mind what success is going to look like when I teach a lesson. So we're really excited about this work. It's a multi-year phase in regards to making this happen for our students, but it's definitely something that is grounded hard in the research. Another thing here is a document some of you may have seen before. This is our collective beliefs, and when we start out about talking about why would we have the set of collective beliefs, what's important about it, it goes back to what our superintendent, Dr. Smith, talks about, is wanting to make sure that students are seen, heard, supported, and safe. And when students connect to their schools, and they connect with their teachers, and they connect with administrators, and they connect with one another, it really is something that has a dramatic impact on a student feeling like they belong, and it truly offers an opportunity for students to reach their potential. So that's really the why. The how are we going to start doing this? It's really through high quality instruction. We have a list of essential practices, and we're doing a lot of work to support our teachers in regards to alignment and articulation in our curriculum. And then the what, we've got 3 areas. Core curriculum is something that we've put a lot of time and attention into. We know we have adopted materials, but we've got a resurgence of making sure that when our teachers are planning, they're using common materials, because it doesn't make sense for people to get together and plan if you have completely different materials focused on different learning objectives. So when your materials are common, it gives you an opportunity to be able to do the type of planning that we know plays out in the research. Positive behavior, another area that we're focusing on, and that I can say all of our schools have a strong PBIS system, and that is positive behavior and intervention systems. And there's different levels to it: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and our schools are all making progress on moving in that way to really make sure that behavior is something that is clearly articulated to students in regards to what it means to be connected to your school, to have positive behavior on campus. And it's something that we're continuing to work on. It doesn't just happen through osmosis. It happens through deliberate work. And then the big one for us that I touched on a little bit earlier is John Hattie's work, and that's collaboration, collective teacher efficacy. It's really about believing that together as a group of educators, we can really help support students at the highest levels possible. Now I will introduce Dr. Carrie Torres.
Thank you. So you've heard a lot from Dr. Sir about the research, and we are so grateful that our board values the investment of research-driven practices. And you're going to continue to hear tonight as a theme this conversation around collective teacher efficacy. And really, how does that look in Newport-Mesa, and how are we doing that? And so this is done in real time through our purposeful learning teams. And we've been able to establish time for our teachers to come together. And we've had an opportunity as a team to go out and be a part of those and sit side by side with teachers, listening to all of their discussions centered around their instruction and data and student performance and outcomes. Those have been exceptionally rich conversations, and it matters. Teachers coming together, sharing best practices. What does a PLT team structure look like? What are we asking teachers to do during that time when they come together in order to have that effect size and that outcome that you heard Dr. Sir talk about? Is teams are coming together and they really want to talk about what we want students to know. You heard Dr. Sir talk about teacher clarity. We need students to know as they're learning, what is it you're asking them to do? How are we going to know when they've learned it? And what do we do when they do not learn something? So when they're not meeting those targets, how do we really take a look and reteach? And how do teachers come together and talk about what do we do when they did learn? It's just as important to help students who have learned the subject to accelerate as those who have maybe need a little bit more time and need some reteaching. This really helps teachers put the decision-making in their hands together as a team, and that trust between teachers with those essential practices really help improve the system. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Blasey. She's going to talk about how we did.
Good evening. I have the privilege of talking about the Smarter Balance assessment data. And if you look at this slide, on the left, you will see that we tested over 8,600 students in grades 3 through 8 and 11. And we usually test in March through May. And in front of you on the left, we have English language arts and mathematics. And these highlights are profound in the sense that we increased in English language arts and mathematics 2.24%. And typically, it's difficult to even get 1% growth, but we did grow by 2.24% in ELA and math. And we increased in grades 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 11th grade. Our English-only students increased in ELA and math, and specifically, I want to point out the increase in special education in both ELA and math. That is a significant growth of 5.12 in ELA and 3.19 in mathematics. And please note the colors, because as we go through the presentation, ELA will be blue, mathematics will be green, and for our science, it's a mauve or purple color. And then in science, we only test grades 5, 8, and 11, and over 3,800 students again tested. And then district overall, we increased by 2.59%. We increased in grades 5, English only, and grade 11th. And again, our special education students did increase as well. Also, we looked at our zone comparisons, and if you see on the left, this is the increase from the previous year, and then you'll also see two lines, the county, Orange County, so the line is orange, and then the state, the Golden State, it's a gold line, and you can see that every zone, including the district as a whole, increased over the state. This is significant, and then you can also see, this is ELA, and then for mathematics, we also increased, so we did outscore in mathematics the state and the county for the district, and then each zone, we increased and outscored the state except for one zone. And then for science as well. So we did outscore the state for all zones except one, and then for the district. And I'll turn it back over to Ms. Shields.
We want to make sure, too, that we're presenting this data with relative comparisons. We are very proud of the work that students and staff have done to have this level of gains across the district, and we know that what's happening in classrooms is serious and specific, and that everyone's working hard. We also know that we are a powerful district with many resources, and we want all of them to focus on student achievement and continue to outperform many of our neighboring districts, if not all of them, to be honest. But when you look at it, while we as a district outscore the state and Orange County, and we're in range of our neighbors, we still are not where we want to be in terms of being a leader amongst some of our neighborhood districts. And this is for English language arts, as you heard Dr. Blasey talk, is blue. Math also always the district outscores the state and the county. And again, we're in range of our neighbors. We want to beat them. We can. We have the staff, we have the resources, we have the community, we have the brilliant students. There's no reason for us to not do better. And then in science, here, we don't outperform the county, and one of the things that we've done in the meantime is we did have an elementary science adoption that will grow stronger at the elementary levels and prepare students as they move forward. And we reconfigured our science teachers that the board has so generously provided for every elementary school, so that also will continue to impact us in very standards-based ways that increase achievement. We would be missing sharing information if we didn't speak about some of the key highlights and bright spots in the district. And so we want to make sure that while we know everyone is working hard, there are several schools who have really positive, impactful outcomes as a result of all the work that staff and students are doing, and we want to make sure the public sees that.
So here are some highlights for our district. And you'll notice that in the dark blue are our elementary schools, and then in the lighter blue are the secondary schools. These are schools with growth over the previous year. 66% of all schools grew, 62% of our elementary schools, and 77% of our secondary. We also had specific schools that had a consecutive 3-year growth in English language arts. Again, elementary darker blue, lighter blue, secondary. And then this was the board goal realization. So from pre-pandemic to progress, in ELA, these schools outperformed pre-pandemic test scores. So again, you see the darker blue for our elementary and the lighter blue for our secondary. And then the same for mathematics. 73% of our schools showed growth, And last year, we really focused on the Dine with Data and other initiatives with our adoption of illustrative math. And this year, it's now a K-12 continuum. We really focused on this. As this being my second year in the district, this makes me proud to see that we really had a lot of growth in mathematics. This is an area to celebrate. 81% of our elementary schools showed growth. And I watched the directors in both ELA and in secondary and elementary, and our principals and teachers really jump into this data and look at what they can do differently. And then these are schools that had consecutive 3 years growth in mathematics. And then again, the board goal realization from pre-pandemic to progress in mathematics. And then the schools with growth over the previous year in science. And 60% of our schools showed growth overall, 57% of elementary, and 67% in secondary. These particular schools, we have 5 schools in the district. I'm really proud to say that they had 3 years of consecutive growth. And I want to also point out that Newport Heights is the one school that had 4 years of growth. And any questions?
This is great. It's such a great report. Great to see growth. Just want to thank you so much for providing this report, and then just for everyone, for the teachers and the district. All your hard work is really showing. And I know when we put together our board goals, I think it was the first year of Dr. Smith being here, we challenged the team to have higher test scores than our 2019 levels, pre-pandemic levels. And it's great to see that slide where we have those schools that are achieving that. And that's wonderful. I can't wait to see all our schools have achievement pre-pandemic levels. Do I have questions? Trustee Crane.
Actually, I think.
Oh, sorry. Our trustee.
Yeah.
Yes, Kenley.
So since you mentioned that we have like negative and minimal and positive like ways to learn and teach. So I want to actually what kind of actions are being taken to assure that teachers are actually using these techniques, because from personal experience and other friends as well, I've had some classes that teachers only hand out some packages and tell you to read a chapter of the book and then just fill it out and turn it in, So I want to ask you what actions are being taken right now in order to ensure that teachers are following these techniques.
So thank you so much, Kenley, for highlighting that. And that is ongoing work that we do. And what that looks like is we have a director of teaching and learning in both elementary and secondary. So Keith Carmona works with your high school and the teachers. And he helps facilitate trainings and professional development to help teachers really put forward their best practices. And so, for example, that's a group of math teachers coming together to talk about geometry and how to have better teaching practices to make sure that our students are able to achieve their learning. And we try to do that as frequently as possible during the year, and we bring teachers together to do that work. And we're always trying to make sure that their practice is current, and that it is inspiring and engaging and helps you as students be able to learn the content.
Thank you.
Trustee Crane, do you still?
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Crane.
So I remember last year sitting here and getting not such a great report. I believe our growth was anemic. Was it less than 0.5%? I think.
It was lower.
Yeah. So
This is a significant
exactly. So I'm thrilled to see a 2% plus growth, specifically since you also mentioned the fact that even a 1% growth at a district as large as ours is quite significant. So kudos to all of you who are doing the work. I also do know that the Hattie study is fascinating. I used to be once an educator, always an educator, but I was a teacher back in my early days, and there's no question that the teacher is definitely the biggest quotient in student success. At the very minimal, it's the connectivity with the student, so the students wants to come and wants to learn. So, but then, we also add the resources from the mental health resources to special needs resources, assistance in the classroom, et cetera. I do see a great trajectory for Newport-Mesa. I do see that we are working on the systems that are foundational to growth, because we have to start somewhere, and I do love the work that's been done since Dr. Smith has come on board. He knew that we needed to dive deep and look at why aren't we performing at the level we should be given the resources and the staff that we have on hand. And so it takes courage, it takes, I think it takes dedication, and it also takes the village. It's not just top down, as Dr. Smith, you mentioned. It's not bottom up. It's pretty much meeting in the middle and moving forward for the sake of our kids. So thank you. This is very good. I do hope that we keep trudging forward and understanding that it doesn't need to be teacher focused, but also with the resources and the support with leadership. And our board is very data oriented, and we really appreciate this. It makes us very happy. I'm disappointed that the other trustees aren't here to listen to the comments. Hopefully they're listening somewhere so that they are taking this information in and also moving forward and showing signs of support for their schools.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes, I just wanted to point out that one thing that I think we can really improve on, and this is all excellent information, but I think we actually have better scores than we have. But we need to let parents and teachers and staff and everybody know how important it is that they take these tests seriously. Because the juniors or the 10th grade, 11th grade, when they're taking it, they're taking all sorts of tests. And I know that they go straight down and just put all C or whatever because they're overtaking their tests. And they think that these tests don't matter. And these tests really matter. So whatever we can do to spread the word to parents and to students that we got to take this seriously. And if we do, I think we'll be way high. So that's just my opinion. So however we can really push that with our principals, teachers. I'm pushing it on every PTA meeting I'm going to. I've been telling them how important these tests are. And let me add one more thing. And I've used this analogy the other day with you, and I've used it with other people. But we work really close with San Diego State. And one day that we described to me, how do you pick a child for college when they have the exact same resume? And the way they pick, there's two people, same exact, 3.7, whatever the grade point, everything exactly the same. At the very bottom, what did their school district test scores look like versus the other school district test scores? And if you look at Irvine, it's at 70%, and we're at whatever percent we are, they're going to take that Irvine kid. So we want them taking the Newport-Mesa kid. So those tests matter, and we have to tell all parents, all students that no fooling around, take this seriously. It's for their future. It's for their good. So that's my comment.
Thank you for sharing that. I think one thing that's also kind of undershared or not as clear to people is that in California, for 11th graders, this test does serve as a placement test for UC and CSU, and for families and the student to accelerate in their freshman year. These scores matter, and we just need to keep reiterating that and sharing that information across all students and parents and any group that'll listen, because understanding that it is a placement test for your future in California. And we have some of the, as Dr. Sir says, some of the strongest institutions in the world in our state. And to get access to them, this matters.
Agreed.
Great. Oh, Trustee Crane again.
One more question. So let's keep in mind, too, that this is one test, right? And during the academic year, there are internal tests that we give and assessments. And so do you find that the internal assessments are typically higher, the same, or lower than the SBAC?
That's actually part of what we're doing in the PLT process, is looking at the way in which our students are scoring, because one of the truths about it is the way the SBAC asks the questions is different in many times than how we teach it in class and how we assess it in class. So part of it is creating that transition, and that the teacher and the student understand you might get asked to reveal it this way, you might get to reveal it this way, and you might ask in another way. And so making sure that students can apply their knowledge in all those different contexts, whether it's the classroom, whether it's a test like this, or whether it's the real world. Part of it is how do we make sure that students are equipped to demonstrate their mastery in all those contexts.
That's great. You know what, you can definitely see in these test scores that, you know, our curriculum changes have made a huge difference. I think moving to Haggerty for the reading has really shown improvement. I mean, just looking at like the 4th grade results to then, you know, our 6th grade results have been huge, which has been great. But then what I'm really excited about, and I'll have to eat my words, is the illustrative math curriculum. I did not like this because I had a child that was part of the test pilot, and I didn't really like it. And but you know, there was good reasons to go and vote for that math curriculum, because it was TK through 12 continuum of a math curriculum, which was great. And from these test scores, it looks like that was the right call, and I'm really even excited to see what our next year's test scores, because having 2 years or 3 years under our belt with that curriculum, I think is only going to help us as we get up to the to 12th grade. But and another thing that, you know, to point out is that 11th grade is really, the test scores in 11th grade is really how did our district perform overall for a student, right?
For the lifetime.
For the lifetime of that student. And looking at that, I mean, we're still showing growth there, but I think with all these other curriculum enhancements and training for our teachers, we're going to see some tremendous growth with our 11th graders. And then besides the praise, I do have questions. The question I have is, we were talking a little bit about A through G requirements, and that, you know, in 11th grade when they test for math, they might not have taken those 3 years of math that they're actually testing in that 11th grade math curriculum. So what can we do to increase our A through G requirements, and at least for math and English for our students?
Thank you for mentioning that, because I was just talking with my team earlier today that that's something we'll be bringing to the board, some ideas to brainstorm how we can improve our A to G rate, and in doing so be able to provide more access to math in that 3rd year. We would want kids sitting in a math class for the 3rd year, and we'd have to look at the percentage of students who actually aren't in that, but we do have kids who opt out of that math because our graduation requirements allow that. So that's something that we'd like to have a conversation about. The other thing that we're doing, and I'll share that Newport Harbor took us up on this, is we had their 10th grade students take the ICAs, which are the interim assessments. And so they piloted that program last year so that students would have access to test-like questions in 10th grade, so they were prepared for 11th. And that was specifically in math. And then we had our other schools do English. So we're trying to find ways to put that back in front of them. But math is something that we have students who right now can choose out of, and we want to change that.
Great. And for English, though, they have to take all 4 years. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's no secret sauce for that one. Okay. But I just want to say thank you so much for this. I mean, I love that and I love that the teachers are coming to dine with data as well. I think that's fabulous. Just so thank you so much. I can't wait to see what next year's scores are going to be. Any other questions or comments from the board before I wrap up? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. That's awesome.
Thank you.
It's great progress. Thank you. All right. So now we're moving on to 17A. We have 2 or 3 comments. First one is Carmen Ramirez. And I know we have some translation as well. And would you like to translate as she goes or after?
I'll wait about a sentence or two and then I'll interpret.
All right.
Sí.
Me dieron 6 minutos, pero necesitaría como 5 horas.
They gave me 6 minutes, but I would need about 5 hours.
Mi nombre es Carmen Ramírez. Buenas tardes, Superintendente Smith. Y estaba practicando su nombre de Krista, presidenta. Estoy practicando los apellidos porque se me hacen difícil, pero lo voy a lograr un día.
So, good evening. My name is Carmen Ramirez. Good evening, Superintendent. I was practicing your name, Krista. I'm also practicing all of the last names, so I will be practicing on that.
Soy mamá de este distrito escolar por más de 25 años. Tengo 3 hijos graduados de este distrito en universidades. Ya 2 salieron. Una está jugando soccer, muy orgullosa de que haya estudiado en nuestra escuela Costa Mesa.
So I've been here in this school district for over 25 years. 3 of my children have been in this district. 2 of them are already at the university level, and 1 is playing soccer at Costa Mesa.
No, está jugando para la escuela, la Universidad CSEA de Los Ángeles.
Oh, playing for Cal State LA.
Sí, pero graduada de la escuela Costa Mesa.
Graduated from Costa Mesa.
Estoy aquí para darle las gracias a todo nuestro distrito. Siempre lo he presumido que es nuestro mejor distrito porque he estado en otros distritos escuchando y para mí Newport-Mesa siempre va a ser el mejor.
I'd like to thank the district. I've been to other school districts. I've been listening and observing other school districts, and I always say this is the best school district out there.
Gracias por toda la ayuda que le han estado dando a nuestra comunidad. Llevaron el mercado a Rea y a Whittier y todas nuestras familias están siendo con esa bendición recibiendo ese mercado.
So you brought the mercado, the market, food distribution to Ray and Whittier, which has been extremely helpful to all of our families and all of our communities.
Y podría estar aquí hablando de una persona que ha ayudado mucho a la comunidad. No la veo aquí sentada, pero la señorita Ashley Anderson a nuestra comunidad ha ayudado mucho, especialmente en su zona. Y no solamente en su zona, sino en toda Costa Mesa. Podemos contar con ella y puedo decir que le doy gracias por su honestidad y compasión.
So I want to mention one person who is not present here today, but who has been helping our community for so long. That's Ashley Anderson. She has not only helped our community, our zone, but all of Costa Mesa. We know that we can count on her, and I thank her for her honesty.
Y creo que esas 2 palabras puedo describirla muy bien a ella. Muchas gracias.
I think those 2 words describe her perfectly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, Erica.
Hi, good evening, board members and community members. My name is Erica. This is the first council meeting that I am present, and it's actually I'm enjoying it. I'm here as a concerned parent in our district. As a former teacher myself, I care deeply about all students, especially those whose brilliance too often goes unseen because of the labels adults choose to place on them. This past summer, I binged your meetings online, and there was a troubling thought of pushing police-led gang prevention programs into some of the elementary schools. As a former elementary school teacher, it was shocking to hear that this was thought about. I understand that safety concerns often come from good intentions, but fear-based programs are not what our children need, especially when those calls come from individuals who don't live in, work in, or truly understand the communities that they are labeling. We must be very careful who gets to define our children, because once a child is labeled a gang member instead of student, we've already limited their potential in the eyes of the teachers, their peers, and even themselves. Contrast that with the language that we hear in more affluent schools, where children are called gifted, innovative, future leaders. Those labels lift, they affirm, and they open doors. But when we call our children at risk, defiant, or dangerous, we close those doors before they've had a chance to knock. Words shape reality. They can stigmatize or they can strengthen. That's why I am here today to thank Trustee Ashley Anderson, who is still not here right now, but is standing firm with us in her conviction for insisting that our duty as educators and community members is to mentor students and not monitor them, to see students and not suspects, and to build environments that are promising, not problematic. My support for Ms. Anderson comes from her impeccable character, as I've known her for many years, and deep caring for all of her students in her community. I'm grateful that she advocates for our community in Costa Mesa and is the voice for the most vulnerable stakeholders. She knows when children feel safe, supported, and seen, they rise. So let's resist efforts to sow fear and division, and let's absolutely reject any attempt to censor or silence Ms. Anderson or any of you leaders. From our district communities, we are fighting for equity, inclusion, and empowerment for all of our schools, because the solution is not control, it's connection. It's not policing, it's partnerships. And it's not fear, it's faith in our children. The way we talk about students becomes the way we treat them, and the way we treat them becomes who they believe they are.
Next up, we have an Ensign school parent. And if you would like to state your name at the dais, that'd be great.
Good evening, President, board members, superintendent, cabinets, and guests. My name is Nadia. I started working as a young teen in part because of the trust of a small business manager in Costa Mesa who hired me and my school counselor who trusted that I would maintain good grades while working after school and on weekends. Perhaps these individuals responded to the sense of despair that I demonstrated not only financially. My mom cleaned houses in Newport Beach and my dad worked night shift at the gas station on the corner of Harbor Boulevard and Wilson. Salaries barely enough to pay rent on the west side of Costa Mesa and even less for living expenses. I also suffered from the despair of the lack of safety on the streets, the uncertainty of what would become of my life. I took advantage of every service possible, not knowing the word nonprofit back then, but I knew and could recognize these organizations and people that were good for me. Youth Employment Service, Think Together, Shalimar, Soy, Girls, Inc., many amazing organizations that are still around today. I relied on the kindness and mentorship of strangers to get me through high school and to encourage me to attend college. Decades later, as a parent of a middle school student in the same district, I see the same needs. The needs for positive mentors, safe places after school with not only academic support, but also enrichment, voices that uplift our parents and students. Any outreach efforts meant to portray these young students as anything less than that, what they are, capable, intelligent, hardworking, and for those of you students here, I hope that you hear me, with natural grit, does a disservice to these families. We must continue to listen and be guided by the real needs of these families, by what they say and by the individuals that are representing them. I have worked on meaningful outreach efforts through my previous role as Director of Operations of the Chamber of Commerce of Costa Mesa, to partnerships with Trellis, Shalimar, La Escuelita, the Network for Homeless Solutions through the City of Costa Mesa, and so many more with Trustee Anderson. She knows the community, loves this community, and aims to do right by them. She is a tireless advocate who has and continues to bring solutions to real problems. I suggest instead of petty quibbling, we do attempt to put our egos aside and do what's best for these students, for them, for the future that they will soon walk into.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 17A, we have an informational item, and it is we have a policy where a community member can place something on the agenda, and we have a community member that wanted to place something on the agenda. We have Ruth Kobayashi, and she will have 3 minutes to speak on this item.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ruth Sanchez Kobayashi. Thank you for including my concerns for professional governance standards on tonight's agenda. As a parent of 2 NMUSD graduates and a committed advocate for all of our schools, I urge you to hold one of our trustees accountable for conduct that falls short of the professionalism that our district, parents, and students expect. At the September board meeting, Trustee Anderson publicly demeaned and degraded a fellow trustee without provocation. She appeared to believe that a trustee who does not live in her zone has no right to oversight of the schools in that zone. This behavior, witnessed by teachers, staff, student board members, and the public, was unacceptable. District policies and bylaws direct board members to, and I quote, recognize and respect differences of perspective and style on the board and among staff, student, parents, and the community. Act with dignity, understand the implications of demeanor and behavior, and govern in a dignified and professional manner, treating everyone with civility and respect, unquote. These standards, also reinforced by the California School Board Association's professional governance standards, are clear. Trustee Anderson's actions violated them. NMUSD Board Policy Manual also states, and I quote, board members are elected to serve the whole district, not just one school, zone, or one special interest group. Violations of laws, policies, or bylaws tend to injure the district's reputation and undermine the board's effectiveness. Such conduct is deemed a dereliction of duty, unquote. I want you to know I speak tonight of my own accord, driven only by my commitment to our district's reputation, the example that we set for students, and the quality of leadership we provide. I ask that you, all of you, including those that are not at this dais right now for some reason, to take steps to hold Trustee Anderson accountable for her disruptive and disrespectful behavior. While a public apology would be welcome, accountability is essential for a professional board who will govern in a dignified manner. P.S. Student board members and all the students here were really impressive tonight. It gives us all hope in the future. And I would have loved to have seen them all represented by their trustees who chose not to be here. Thank you. Thank you for your continued work for our students.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate the board policy 9005, which is our governance standards. And I quote, the board expects its members to work with each other and the superintendent to ensure that a high-quality education is provided to each student. Each individual board member shall keep learning and achievement for all students as the primary focus, value, support, and advocate for public education, recognize and respect differences of perspective and style on the board and among staff, students, parents, and the community, act with dignity and understanding the implications of demeanor and behavior. Additionally, board members also shall assume collective responsibilities for building unity and creating a positive organizational culture. To operate effectively, the board shall have a unity of purpose and keep the district focused on learning and achievement for all students, communicate a common vision, operate openly with trust and integrity, govern in dignified and professional manner, treating everyone with civility and respect, govern within board-adopted policies and procedures, take collective responsibility for the board's performance, and periodically evaluate its own effectiveness. After reading these, I reviewed my why of why I'm on the school board and who I serve. And I serve the students of Newport-Mesa. So every day when I decide to come to work, come here on a board meeting, I'm so fortunate that I get to work at a district or govern at a district that are North Star, our students. And every day I see my kids that are my North Star, and they're the reason I'm here. And I'd love to govern with those that also have that as their North Star, and I'd like to keep that in our district. Any other comments? Trustee Pearson?
Yes, Ruth, thank you. I agree. As board members, we're expected to model the same professionalism and respect that we ask of our staff, students, and families. I believe part of that example is showing up, listening, and finding ways to move forward together, even if it's an uncomfortable situation. We have to lead with kindness. We have to stay focused on what truly matters, and that's supporting our students and strengthening our schools.
Thank you. Any other comments? Trustee Crane?
Well, to put it plainly, we don't pick our team. We're electeds. Our constituents elect us, and then we're thrown in together, and we need to work together with integrity, dignity, and commitment to our kids. The North Star of why we do this. We are the stewards of students, all our students. We keep saying that. We serve at the pleasure of all of our students. And so I don't like seeing empty seats on a dais. I don't like to see the fact that that we are not a team right now tonight. We should all be here moving forward, and we need to also be the role models of behavior. We are elected, we are held to a higher standard, and we really need to just always make sure that we govern and not undermine our process. And that starts with respect and the protocols that President Wygand basically read tonight. And for me, again, it's about the kids, it's about doing my job and not undermining the process of governance. And to say that none of us are, passionate about our work, it's a calling. We average about $5 an hour, maybe. Okay, so we're not here because we're greedy, we're ambitious, and we're single-issued persons. We're here because we care about our community and we want to inspire, educate, and elevate every student. And so, we need to understand that can't happen if we don't respect each other and agree to disagree sometimes. But we also have to face the reality that this is a majority board. Majority rules. This is a democracy. It's a democratic board. So if we don't always get what we want, to quote Mick Jagger. So the point is that sometimes we don't win the battles, but we always can serve our community to the best of our ability with integrity, respect for each other. So here we are.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, with that, I will be moving on to consent calendar to number 18. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Pearson, seconded by Trustee Crane. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wiegand.
Yes.
Trustee Soilu. Trustee Murphy. Trustee Pearson.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson. Trustee McElroy.
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
4-0. All right, moving on to public hearing for the Board of Education Personnel Commission appointee. Assistant Superintendent Nib.
So in accordance with Education Code, this item is for the public hearing regarding the board's attended appointee, Charlene Montoya, which was announced in the September board meeting for the appointment to the Personnel Commission. Just a reminder, the board will consider action to appoint Ms. Montoya during a subsequent agenda item. So this is just for the public hearing.
Okay, I am going to open the hearing up now at 7:45 or 7:44. Public comments? Seeing none, I'm going to close the hearing at 7:44. Okay, moving on to 19B, public hearing disclosing the provisions of the 2025-2026 tentative collective bargaining agreement with the California School Employees Association, Newport-Mesa, Chapter 18. Assistant Superintendent Nib.
All right, so this is the public hearing to receive any public comment on the provisions of the tentative agreement with CSEA.
All right, I will open up the hearing at 7:44. It's a long minute. Are there any other public comments? All right, seeing none, the hearing is now closed at 7:44. Okay. 20, discussion action calendar. 20A, approve the Board of Education appointee to the Personnel Commission. Assistant Superintendent Nip.
All right, so having conducted a public hearing in accordance with Education Code, the next step is for the board to consider action to appoint Charlene Matoye to a 3-year term of office to the district's Personnel Commission.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Crane, seconded by Trustee Murphy. Roll call vote.
Student Board Member Kenley Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Weigand.
Yes.
Trustee Soilu.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Pearson.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson.
Yes.
Trustee McElroy.
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. 20B. Congratulations, Shar. 20B, approve tentative agreement between the Newport-Mesa Unified School District and California School Employees Association and its Newport-Mesa Chapter 18, concluding 2025-2026 negotiations. Assistant Superintendent Nip.
Absolutely. So we are pleased to bring to the board the tentative agreement with CSEA for approval. Ms. Ching said it so eloquently earlier in the meeting with her comments, but both negotiating teams worked tirelessly, focusing on key areas to support classified employees, which includes an ongoing salary increase of the district's contribution for health and welfare benefits, and investment in recognizing longevity and professional growth. We want to recognize the CSEA team that included Amy Ching, CSEA President, Sean Katz, Amber Schumacher, Rose Hedgard, Mike Ritchie, and labor representatives Diego Ortega and Charles Leone. We also want to recognize the district's negotiating team that included Sarah Jackham, Shoshana Nakano, Lance Bidnick, and Jake Haley. Kristen Clark served as a resource to both teams through the process. Thank you.
Great. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Crane, seconded by Trustee Pearson. Roll call vote.
Trustee Weigand.
Yes.
Trustee Soilu.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Pearson.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson.
Yes.
Trustee McElroy.
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Congratulations. 20C, approve management, confidential, and supervisor compensation and benefits for 2025-2026. Assistant Superintendent Nip.
Fantastic. So having met and conferred with representatives of management, confidential, and supervisory employee groups, these are leadership groups that include multiple classifications such as principals, assistant principals, coordinators, executive assistants, supervisors, managers. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve parallel compensation and benefits for these groups with the same increases provided to CSEA.
Sounds great. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Oh, second.
Moved by Trustee Anderson, seconded by Trustee Murphy. Roll call vote.
Trustee Weigand.
Yes.
Trustee Soilu.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Pearson.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson.
Yes.
Trustee McElroy.
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Okay, moving on to 21, which is the resolution adoption calendar. 21A is adopt resolution 29-10-25 to standardize district facility components for the designation of specific materials, products, things, or services of public works projects to ETC for theatrical lighting. Assistant Superintendent Dixon.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution allows us to standardize, and I think it's an important distinction here, theatrical lighting, but not theater lighting. So it's a theatrical lighting like we installed at the 22 MPRs over the summer.
Yeah.
And make sure that all components that we buy going forward are compatible with that system. It in no way prevents us from switching this at a future time. It would require a different resolution to either dissolve or replace it. But right now, with those being such new systems, we want to make sure that whatever we can specify in our bid documents for improvements or additions to those, the contractors would not be able to deviate from what our current system is.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Trustee Crane, seconded by Trustee Murphy. Questions, comments? All right, roll call vote.
Trustee Weigand.
Yes.
Trustee Soilu.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Pearson.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson.
Yes.
Trustee McElroy.
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 7-0. 21B, adopt resolution 30-10-25 to approve the continued funding application with the California Department of Education for the state preschool program for the 2026-2027 school year. Dr. Sir.
Yeah, so this is a yearly resolution for us to approve the state preschool funding that we receive in the upcoming year. So this is an approval for the 26-27 year, and this covers our state preschool programs that currently operate at 7 of our schools: College Park, Killiebrook, Paularino, Pomona, Sonora, Whittier, and Wilson. We did have 8 last year, but we have restructured both Pomona and Ray Elementary School, so Ray is no longer running a state preschool program on its campus. But this is a contractual amount that's approximate. It's a maximum reimbursable amount of $5,259,077.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Trustee Anderson, seconded by Trustee Crane. Roll call vote.
Trustee Weigand?
Yes?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
The motion carries 7-0. 21C, adopt resolution 31-10-25, selection of Farmers and Merchants Bank as depository for various accounts of district and authorizations therewith. Assistant Superintendent Dixon.
Thank you. Yes, so this resolution, in essence, updates my name with Jeff Trader's name for all the accounts that we manage at Farmers and Merchants Bank. You can see that in the resolution. A lot of it, the bulk of it, is our associated student body accounts.
Great. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Crane, seconded by Trustee Ursulou. Roll call vote.
Trustee Weigand?
Yes.
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Okay, moving on to item 22, informational reports. Superintendent.
I want to start with a couple of the events that I went to that just speak to our district priorities. I was able to visit the Ray Avid Family Night, and its focus was on literacy. And there was a line coming out the door. It was a huge line, and I cracked a joke with the PTA. Is that where we're selling food or whatever? They're like, no, that line's back there, and it was full until we opened these doors. And I went in. It was wall-to-wall families, parents, family members, guardians with their students working on literacy tasks. It was beautiful. You couldn't find a space in that room. I had a chance, too, to go to College Park's flag deck, which may not sound like a big deal, but College Park knew that it was. They had a Kiss the Goat activity and cut the hair of one of their teachers who had the most lovely hair. I've always wanted hair like his and never, ever had it. They did it because they set a goal for this school, and here's what's important, to raise money for other school activities. Some years ago, we found out that that was one of our schools that couldn't raise enough money to go to science camp. That's when the board, to my left, decided that they would fund all science camps at every school so that every student could participate. This school said, we can do better than that. They set a goal, and I think, and Trustee Murphy knows the exact amount, but it's almost like $60,000 at the point that I was at that meeting. Again, science camp was about 7, couldn't get there. Now their families are coming together because they believe in that school. They raised $60,000. And I'll tell you what, I bragged about teachers a little earlier. Kids may not remember what they did that day in school. They may or may not. But the guy that shaved his head, every student came up to him and wanted to hug him and thank him. They will remember, maybe forever, what he did to motivate their parents and families to give so that those students can experience things. And I thought that was just beautiful. I mentioned dying with data, and so I'll leave that one. But I did want to say this for any of our audience members watching so that they're not confused. When we introduced the item for management, supervisors, et cetera, to get their new raises, compensation, right after we did with our friends at CSEA, I wanted to make clear that that does not include assistant superintendents or the superintendent. It could have, our contracts allow for it. But we all decided, because I said earlier, we believe in our teams at the table. We believe we have the folks there to resolve any of our issues, and we're willing to wait until all of our groups have agreed. And so I just want to be clear that we signed a document saying we were going to wait until all groups have agreed. So that's my report.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to board member reports, and I'm going to remind everyone to keep the report to one committee report, and then one school event so we can get through it all. All right, I'm going to start with Trustee Crane.
I'm going to start by violating that real quick, by thanking everyone for wearing pink due to breast cancer awareness, and so thank you for allowing that. All right, so I'll keep it short. We went to Battle of the Bay rally and football game. It was great. Committee member, we went as Newport Beach liaison. Trustee Pearson and I went to the Newport Beach Youth Council, which is a wonderful internship program that is offered to our high school students, where they pair our students to city staff from various departments. And it's really neat to see the interaction between the adult and the student, because the adult's just as excited as the student. And because, the staff in the departments, they just kind of interact with a lot of adults all day, every week, every month, every year. So it's refreshing to have high school students interacting with them, because then they get to shadow them, they get to become mentors for the students. And then, of course, the students are becoming more enriched and engaged with how city works. The city has a lot of layers, and so it's a wonderful program. And so Trustee Pearson and I are the liaison, and we were happy to be there in support of the Newport Beach Youth Council.
Trustee McElroy?
Hi. Well, this really changes my, because I don't have a committee.
Sorry,
but that's
throwing you
okay.
for a loop here.
I just spent the entire month, like I do every single day, learning what I'm doing, learning the district. I went and met with Soy. I've been to all the schools. I have, I'm just learning, about everything, and I'm meeting really great people, really great teachers, really great parents. My highlight would be Friday at Flag Deck. I have two highlights. Culinary class that we went to was amazing, and watching all those kids just do their thing, and it was amazing. And then going to the Flag Deck at Newport L and seeing how excited all the new children, the student council was elected, and all of them got to be introduced, and that was really cute, and they were really excited. So that's my statement.
One and one.
Yeah.
Trustee Anderson?
Thank you. I was able to participate in the Orange County Transportation Authority Safe Routes to School steering committee that I've been on, that helped host the Walk to School days that happened in the past few weeks. And it's been amazing to see the progress just with crosswalks, protected bike lanes. A lot of the work that's been happening now in both cities has been incredible. And then I just wanted to inform the public and invite our school communities to get involved with the Love Our Schools Day on November 15th. Love Costa Mesa and Charlotte started that, and now it's in Newport Beach. So great opportunity to start community gardens, participate in all kinds of beautification at school sites. And I'll actually be starting too at Wilson as a literacy tutor volunteer. So there's lots of opportunities around to help. Thanks.
Trustee Pearson?
Okay, it's so not fair to tell elementary school trustee that she can't talk about all the fun fall events that were going on. But my two favorite things, I think, one was Michelle Murphy, Trustee Murphy, and I were able to sit down with our new special ed directors, Heather Cash for elementary and Robert Nichols for secondary. I can't tell you how impressive they were, their knowledge, their heart. They are really going to make a big difference in our schools for special ed. So that was definitely one of my highlights. Thank you for taking the time and sitting with us. And of course, my second one has to be the Battle of the Bay. It's always a good Battle of the Bay. Went over, I think, over 7,500 fans. We had great football, and CDM got to bring back the trophy. So that would be my second highlight. Thanks.
That's great. Okay, Trustee Murphy.
So yes, one more Dogathon update, Superintendent Smith. So the Polarino Panthers raised $1,000 over goal this last Friday, I think. $31,049. Yes, Polarino. Yes.
Yay.
Go ladies in Polarino, all of you PTA moms and dads. And then my other probably small little thing, though not small, is we attended the city departments meeting together, Krista, Leah, and I, and so there's a little bit more to tell about this, but my big advocacy piece was for what our College Park residents want to see is a crosswalk basically at Fordham across Fairview and across Fair. And so it was interesting to have our engineering folks listen to us talk about how that could happen, everything from moms making flashing lights to, painting the street ourselves. So I think we might have scared them enough to look into it a little bit more closely and see what we can do at the crosswalk there to put easier crossing there at Fordham across Fair. So College Park parents, keep your fingers crossed. And last, the Mustangs, just one last thing, then we'll be done. The Mustangs are 7-1 overall, 3-0 in the Tango League. This win clinches at least a share of the league for the team. Yay, team.
Cute.
Thank you, Mustangs.
Trustee Ursulou.
This month, similar to Trustee Murphy and Trustee Wagon, we went to the city, the meeting with the city and all the different departments, and the issue that I had put on the agenda was e-bike safety. So we're trying to work closer with the police department around e-bike safety, whether that looks like enforcement, whether that looks like our how we permit them on campuses here, different angles to keep our kids safer. Because the state is not doing anything, and so kids are still on e-bikes, and we need to deal with that. And then secondly, I got the chance to go and celebrate the Estancia Theater on Saturday night. The opening of that was really great to see so many people that worked hard to get that built there. And and I also talked to the Chamoy kids at Estancia, who are awesome. And Mr. G, props to Mr. G. You're doing a great job. So that was it.
Thank you. All right, so I was also at the Battle of the Bay, but I had the privilege of flipping the coin, which if anyone's a big football fan, it's quite entertaining. And both principals made me train to flip that coin to make sure that it wasn't a bad flip according to them. But it worked. Newport Harbor won the toss, but they did not win the game. Sometimes that happens. So that was a thrilling. It was great. 7,500 folks, but next year it'll be back at Davidson Field, so that'll be exciting too. And then leaving you guys with one feel-good note is, the Snoopy house that we have in the city of Costa Mesa. Well, you know how it was at that house in Eastside Costa Mesa, and then moved to the city hall, and some of those Snoopy cutouts have looked a little, they've looked better in their day. And so our Estancia construction pathway is now rebuilding all the Snoopy house, the cutouts. So, I guess a big truck of wood got delivered to Estancia the other week, and they're raring to go. So hopefully by December we will have newly updated Snoopy house at the city of Costa Mesa. So I'm really excited to see that. Yeah, I love the Snoopy house. Okay, with that, I'm going to close the meeting at 8:04.